Hi folks, and welcome to this special segment of Charlie's Angle. In the latest American Hort Connect magazine, there's an article in here that discusses a 4-part series that I'm writing in the Journal of Environmental Horticulture about the health and well-being benefits of plants. Now, I'm focusing in on those specific benefits because of all the benefits that I generally talk about: economic, environmental, ecosystem services, and health and well-being benefits. It's the health and well-being benefits that really resonate the most with consumers. And you've heard me talk about before the fact that our industry needs to develop a broader, more relevant value proposition regarding plants rather than simply the fact that they're pretty. All right, so in this series, in Article 1, I start talking about the emotional and mental benefits of plants. And the list is fairly exhaustive. I'll just give you a few examples. For example, reduced anxiety and stress. I don't know anybody alive that doesn't have some level of anxiety and stress, and yet research shows that mentally and emotionally, stress is reduced. Cortisol levels in the body are dramatically reduced, and cortisol is the stress-creating hormone. So when cortisol levels in the body go down, then that means the stress has gone down as well. That's very important in terms of today's work environment and otherwise. Another benefit was attention deficit recovery. And again, I've mentioned in these Charlie's Angle segments before that kids, when they're outdoors and they come in from class, their attention deficit has been, the time of reducing that attention deficit has been reduced dramatically by being outside. In fact, their memory capacities have been increased as well by as much as 20%. That's an amazing statistic. In fact, kids perform better on standardized tests if they have been exposed to plants in the classroom, or whether they've gone outdoors, they have views upon nature, or they've gone outdoors and participated in recess and other activities every day. All right, so it's very important. Another benefit that I talk about is mitigation of post-traumatic stress syndrome, right, PTSD. And soldiers that come back from war, or communities that have experienced flooding or hurricanes or some other traumatic event, being outdoors in nature is very healing and recuperative to those that have experienced that stress. Other things like increased productivity, improved self-esteem. Again, all of these are research-based factoids about the benefits of plants, and in those articles I refer to the medical journals, the psychological journals that document these benefits. Now, in article number 2, I focus in on the physiological benefits of plants, the things that occur within our bodies when we're in the midst of flowers, shrubs, and trees. It's pretty spectacular. In fact, we sleep better if we've been exposed to outdoors. Even pregnant mothers, the likelihood of giving birth to babies of anticipated birth weight increases if they've had exposure to outdoor landscape areas. That's an amazing statistic, right? So otherwise, the control group and the other groups that have not been exposed to greenness, the likelihood of premature births goes up pretty dramatically. I mean, that's an amazing article. Other things, decreased diabetes. And of course, that's correlated to the increased amount of activity that they engage in when they're outdoors. Decreased cardiovascular and respiratory disease. Well, that was near and dear to my heart because being a quadruple bypass survivor from 4 years ago, the only reason I knew I had an issue is because my wife and I do a boot camp 3 days a week, and at that time, and when we were outdoors and my heart rate would get above 140 beats per minute, then that's when I knew that there was a heart issue, right? So it saved my life being outside and being active. Decreased mortality. It's being in the midst of flowers, shrubs, and trees not only enhances your mood and your emotional and mental well-being and the things that are occurring in your body, but it also decreases the likelihood of death. I mean, plants are truly a matter of life and death. I mean, women who are exposed to greenness throughout their lives have 12% less mortality. Their mortality rates are 12% less. That's an amazing statistic. Improved digestion, decreased allergies. Interestingly, your body's immune functioning actually builds the more you're outdoors. And improved cognitive development. That's an amazing statistic in and of itself, given the advent of dementia and Alzheimer's in today's time relative to the frequency at which that happened 30 years ago, just a mere 2 or 3 decades. So my own father, who passed away from dementia a couple of years ago, when you remember, I grew up in the nursery business, and when we could get Dad outside potting up a plant, a house plant, or just getting his hands in the dirt, he was the old Dad that I remembered. But when he was inside in his room, you know, he's prone to anger, he was prone to other non-pleasant outbursts. But when he was outside, he was closer to being the Dad that I grew up with. That's very meaningful. I'm sure that there are folks all around the country that have similar kinds of stories. Now, the third article, it's in press right now, well, it's in review right now, and it talks about the social benefits, the fact that communities that are beautified, either through American Bloom or otherwise, they increase the likelihood of intergenerational not conflict, but it decreases conflict between generations. It encourages the interaction among generations. And in fact, another societal benefit is that community gardens, whenever there are community gardens, excuse me, in a community, there's less crime that is committed. Communities have to buy fewer police cars, they hire fewer police people when they have these improved landscaped areas, community gardens, etc. Recidivism rates. If there's prison gardening programs, the recidivism rates go dramatically down. So what I'm saying is that we improve the quality of life, not only for individual citizens, but for society at large. We're the answer to part of societal issues, and we don't talk about that. We may talk about the benefits of or features of this particular plant, the aesthetic features, drought tolerance, insect tolerance, disease tolerance, and so forth. I'm not mitigating the importance of those attributes. I mean, those are, when we see something that's new, improved, it does catch the consumer's eye. However, if we're going to be offering value to end consumers in the future that is relevant to their lives, we got to talk about more than just that. We got to talk about some of these mental, emotional, health and well-being benefits that increases the quality of people's lives. So go to the journal Environmental Horticulture. It's on the HRI website. Check out those articles. Those articles are jam-packed full of marketing factoids that you can use to better position yourself in the minds of your buyers so that you can increase the inelasticity of demand, which means it has an impact on pricing. So with that, I'll close out for now, and when I finish the other articles, I'll come back and give you an update on those. Thank you very much.